gas into the car. They spun, the world whipping around her with a screech of scraping metal until they finally ground to a halt. Rain battered Annabelle through the broken windshield. Haley and Hannah were screaming, but the sound barely penetrated the ringing in her ears. Eventually, the noise in her head subsided. She pawed at the seatbelt release and finally found the button. The twins, still panicked, scrambled out of the car, and she followed them. The rain drenched her clothes instantly. Columns of headlights blinded her. She shielded her eyes and looked at the Mercedes, which, except for the windshield, seemed surprisingly undamaged. Beyond it lay a twisted piece of metal and tires that she only belatedly identified as a motorcycle. Its frame was bent, its front wheel mangled, its headlights smashed, and, further back, another shape, also twisted unnaturally. She cried out and ran toward it, but stopped when she saw the blood, the torn neck, and the empty helmet lying several yards away. "Don't look," she told her girls, whose eyes had gone wide. She drew them both to her, and for once they didn't push away. She led them to the side of the road, where they stood in the rain and waited for the emergency vehicles to arrive. She gave her story to the police in a daze and barely registered their responses. She couldn't help thinking, the car did this on purpose. It would have known the motorcycle was there. Its sensors would have registered its location, speed, direction. It would have taken into account the barrier to their left, the fallen limb, the time available to brake or steer. In that split second, it had plotted all the possible courses and had chosen the route that would minimize danger. To them, at least. Not to the motorcyclist. Had she been behind the wheel, she probably would have plowed into the tree limb, maybe killing all three of them. The Mercedes had the time and skill to plot a different course, and had chosen to sacrifice a man's life to save theirs. She tried to feel sorry about that, but she couldn't. Her daughters were worth more to her than 1,000 strangers. All she felt was a profound sense of relief. But by what right had the car's algorithms chosen their lives over his? When Brad finally came to pick them up, the rain had stopped. He leaped from the car, worried and shaken. Annabelle threw her arms around his neck, reveling in the solidity of him, the familiar reality. "We're all right," she said. "We're fine." Behind him, 2 men lifted a stretcher with the motorcyclist's body into a coroner's van. She heard a paramedic say the words, "Injuries incompatible with life." Rainwater dripped from the sheet that covered his face and dribbled onto the street. "I called a tow truck," Brad said. "They should be here any minute." Over Brad's shoulder, Annabelle saw a woman with dyed blonde hair standing by the van. She wore black leather pants and a sleeveless leather jacket, displaying a full-sleeve tattoo on her left arm. Annabelle wasn't sure, but she thought it might have been identical to the motorcyclist's. Their eyes met. Something changed in the woman's face, and she strode suddenly in Annabelle's direction. Annabelle took a step back, and Brad turned to look. "It was you, wasn't it?" the woman said. "You're the one who killed him." "I'm sorry," Annabelle said. "We couldn't help it. A tree fell in our lane." "And I bet you didn't check for a bike next to you before you turned, did you? Nobody ever does." Her posture was belligerent, aggressive, and Annabelle took another step back, afraid. "I wasn't even driving. The car was. It turned by itself. The tree." The woman's eyes traveled down Annabelle's body, looking at her clothes, taking in Brad's tailored suit and the girls' matching designer outfits. She glanced at the Mercedes, then back, and gave Annabelle an acid smile. "So that's how it is." "Look," Brad said, stepping between them. "I'm very sorry, but this was an accident." "Accident my ass," the woman said. "Your fancy Benz just killed my husband. We don't have much, but you bastards always find a way to take more." "It wasn't on purpose," Annabelle said, trying not to cry. "Did you want us all to die instead?"